Hey, what's up guys? It's Not a Pro Gardener here. It is the second weekend in February, and we are going to be doing a lot of stuff, good update videos. So it's about 50 or so degrees outside, and it's supposed to get a little bit warmer today. You're gonna love it. We got an early spring coming. Doggos are barking, they're having fun, birds are tweeting, plants are getting potted up, seed trays are getting filled up. It's definitely a busy one. So let's go check it out. Hey, what's up guys? It's Not a Pro Gardener here, and today we're going to kind of do an update video on all the stuff we got going on for the market farm and the garden. We've made a few changes. We still got quite a bit of stuff to do, so we're just going to let's do an update video. One of the big changes we have made is this raised bed has been eliminated. We're in need of a hedgerow, so we're going to be putting some fabric here to cover up this grass. All I did was spread the dirt back this way, and we're going to put a big row of flowers here, probably about 25-foot row of flowers. And then to the right of that, since we're doing 30-inch beds, I'm going to branch off of these what this looks like before I tarped it, and give you a second to kind of soak all that in. So we covered that with compost, with what we could invest in the garden this year. And now to the left of that, I'm going to put another 30-inch bed, and I think we're going to do cut sunflowers in here. And if that goes good, I'm hoping they can grow for a long time. I'm going to direct seed all of the sunflowers with my Haas garden seeder, and hopefully I could do a nice little video about that. Then I'm hoping to use the stalks for like pole beans and stuff. So it's going to either be food for us to can, or if they turn out really, really good, it'll be for the market. But we will see what happens. We're going to go ahead and walk this way. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 rows with compost. Now I'm going to use that to my benefit as a compost mulch. It's about 4 inches roughly. So first row, I'm going to direct seed spinach in a 30-inch bed, carrots. And about a week later, I'm going to do another row of carrots here. See if I can pip up the images. We'll do Bloomsdale spinach. I got 2 new kinds of carrots that are specific recommendations from a no-till grower that I like to watch a lot on YouTube. He's I'm sure probably other people use them, but one's an early maturing variety. I can harvest it for baby carrots or not, and that's like 54 days or 36, I think. Then I got another thing of carrots I'm going to put in the next compost row right next to it, and that's, I think, a semi-early maturing variety, because I have early, like a mid, and a long. I got one that's 70 days, the Atlas carrots, and I'm going to use that wherever I can, or if I need to do another row. And then here I'm going to do some Salanova lettuce. I'm going to do 4 rows of that, I believe, down this 30-foot bed. And then after that, I'm going to have about 8 more beds to plant along here. I'm going to have a lot of stuff going on in this bed this year, but I'm going to be able to pack it full of food with the new 30-inch bed system. So hopefully we can have quite a bit of goodies for people. We're going to do a little check-in on. These are the onions we got. These guys here are the deep purple. These are from last year. These are the deep purple from last year or the year before, I can't recall. And I'd say probably about 70% germinated out of all the seeds, because I did put more than 1 seed in each cell. So, and the good thing about onions is you can kind of just break them and tease them apart and still plant them. But these are going to kind of be filler in between wherever I can put them. So we're going to be packing lots more food than I ever have, which is pretty much our motto here. These are the Ishikura bunching onions. I'm pretty excited about those. They did really good. Like, as you can see, has a really nice solid sturdy stalk on them. They're really, really sturdy. And I did cut these twice. They were inside for, I believe, 4 to 6 weeks, and then I decided to acclimate them, and now they are permanently outside. They have taken a couple frosts already, so they're going to be nice and sweet, hopefully. On to the greenhouse. So, as you can see, still no mulch around all this fabric. That's kind of like a last minute thing. If we got any money left over, I'm hoping to put it towards that. In the greenhouse today, we're going to be working on some stuff. Get the door propped open. Get the door propped open. And so far, the first order of business is I've grown all these inside. They have acclimated. Mostly all the herbs that I'm going to be doing. I got some cilantro and other stuff I need to start. So I got sage, lemongrass actually did pretty good this year, oregano, and celery. I'm hoping to do some celery for the market. And we got this seed here, this rosemary from M.I. Gardner, and it just didn't really do that great. All this seed came from M.I. Gardner except for the celery and the lemongrass, if I'm not mistaken, and this just rosemary just didn't really want to germinate the best. So, and if anybody's wondering how this aquarium heater is doing, see if I can get it to focus here. It's about 80 degrees inside this barrel, and I got it set on 93, which is high. This barrel right here underneath of it, plastic barrel, I got that black on it so it absorbs more heat from the sun. It's full of water. Had to fill all these barrels back up with water. My heat sinks. That's the temperature and the moisture level in here. So it's doing pretty good. It was below freezing one night, and it was 34 degrees in here, and it was only about 50 degrees in that barrel. So this year I'm going to build a little frame to go over this, because I usually hang plastic. I tuck it in those, usually I tuck plastic in those rungs on the cattle panels, but this time I'm just going to be building a little frame to go over this and put plastic on it. I'm going to leave the front and maybe the side open, and I'm going to try to do Velcro where it'll stick the plastic to it, but we'll see how that goes. I've seen people do that and had pretty good success. So we're going to pot all these up, and these are permanently staying in the greenhouse now. So that's a next order of business right there. All right, everybody. So something else we got to do is every time we start seed potting up our plants, put some of this AgroThrive General Purpose in there. I'm gonna put about 8 ounces in. And I've always had some problems with this stuff wanting to like mold on me. But I used to have a lid on this bucket, and I think I'm gonna take that lid off this year. Just kind of see how it does. Just gonna kind of see how it does and see if that keeps it from doing what it's been doing. If not, it might be just the sunlight doing it. So this is what we're gonna do, is we're gonna let it breathe and get some air. So this time we're gonna be fertilizing every time we water our plants with an organic fertilizer. We do this for all of our plants every time. This brass siphon mixer here, this guy, it will definitely do the work for you. Just get that fertilizer in there, keep an eye on the level, and every once in a while you might have to add a little more. Okay, one thing I have learned this year is to try to add some good compost in with your seed starting mix. I've found that with fertilizing with organic fertilizer like the AgroThrive General Purpose, I'll pip up an image of that, it seems to do better, and the plants do better taking it up whenever there's them microbes in the soil. So this year I sterilized my seed starting mix, mixed in a couple cups of compost, and then I could fertilize with the organic fertilizer, and I noticed that these plants took it up that much faster. Now the problem with what I did here by mixing all these different herbs in one tray is this oregano, this lemongrass, and the rosemary seem to not like to be watered as much as the rest of this stuff, so keep that in mind. We're gonna go ahead and do these bigger basil plants first, try to get these out of the way. Just gonna get this in here, pop this guy up, and let's just kind of check that out. As you can see, no root wrapping. If I can get it to focus. See those lines right there? These trays that I have specifically have little bitty plastic ribs that make the roots grow. They hit them and then they grow straight down, and there's a big enough hole in the bottom of my tray. Let me get it to focus so you can be absolutely sure. See, there is no root wrapping. No root wrapping. They're all right there at the edge. And then they get air pruned because most of the time I'll take them out of these trays when I'm acclimating them, and any of the trays getting air hit to them at the bottom of them holes will get air pruned. So I have not yet had a problem. Normally when there's this many roots like this, there will be root wrapping, but these trays do such a good job at keeping that from happening. See? Really, really good. That's why I keep getting these trays, which also, these smaller trays really help, you know, with my wrist. I don't have to lift such a huge tray up to do the same amount. I just have to, those bigger trays that I got that are PropTech, which these are PropTech also, but those bigger trays that I have, they are definitely heavier to lift. So with these smaller trays, they are a lot easier to lift, and that cart that you may have seen in my other video, it is nice to not have to lift these guys up as much and carry them out. They can just be rolled outside. So I'm not going to do a whole lot of soil mix on there, just about half of the bag. I think that's good enough for now. So these guys are probably going to, all right, so I'm just going to do about half a bag. I don't want to put a bunch of seed starting mix in here. I think half a bag is good enough because I'm hoping to plant a lot of these out and around. I might even sell a few of them at the market, depends on how good that goes, but usually I like to have a lot of basil. Last year I didn't get to do a lot of herbs and stuff, so this year I'm trying to do it bigger, better. We're going to hopefully be able to harvest a lot of this stuff. I'm going to be putting some of these in 1-gallon pots so I can keep them inside, maybe grow them for the next year, you know. That's pretty much it. So we're going to go ahead and get some of these potted up, and then we'll see what happens. And we do have some raised beds still. See how this one's doing. This one's doing pretty good. These sides kind of bulged out a little bit, but I mean, it's almost like a very big peanut. And I'm not really that worried about it. I mean, I kind of like it, so it's not that big of a deal. And yeah, the raised beds are still doing all right. They're holding their shape. Them round ones are really holding their shape good. Let's see what else we got going on here. It really looks different without that raised bed in there. Like, as you can see, it's pretty well gone. I spread it out as best as I could. That weed fabric's gonna pretty much go from a 30-inch bed over, and then it's gonna have that 4-foot weed fabric in. 18 inches apart, there's gonna be flowers all the way up. So hopefully that works out pretty good. In here, I think I'm gonna take that celery and just bring it directly over here instead of potting it up, because celery is pretty hardy. I've grown it before and it did really, really well in this raised bed actually. And I'm hoping to pull off some more magic again. Now in this bed, I got some remnants of drip tape from taking out that bed, but we're gonna do strawberries. I seed started some strawberries. I'll pip in a clip of that, and you'll be able to see all the stuff we've been seed starting through this little bitty clip here. But we're gonna put our strawberries in this raised bed because I want to be able to cover them. I have insect fabric specifically for this bed. I have shade cloth specifically for this bed, and hopefully that does pretty good. Okay, now that we talked about that, we're gonna go ahead and head up to the shed. We're gonna go ahead and head up to the garage garden plot and check that out. All right, so this is what it currently looks like. I just took the tarp off of this the front of this garage plot. Got it all taken up, trying to get it dried out so I can get it cultivated really nice. But this is the game changer we're going to be starting with this year, and get it right in the frame there. It's a 25-foot by 16-foot wide greenhouse. I got the trellises up for the 5 rows of tomatoes. I'm gonna take you in so we can kind of check it out. But along the sides here, I'm gonna do marigolds. I hope it works out pretty good, but I'm gonna plant them by each post about 6 inches out maybe. Just to kind of, just so I can kind of repel some pests and insects, stuff like that. And I'm sure there's gonna be some people asking about the doors. I got the idea from Satin Hill Farm, but I did my door locks differently. So as you can see, there's the bottom of the bottom of the pole, and all I did was inserted some PVC in there. So pretty much all I got is some more PVC in the ground, and that gives me a little leeway right there. That way, if it does accidentally, like if I open it, that PVC drops down to the ground and catches, so the wind can't just rip it and take it. So it's going to be, it's actually pretty solid, because we've had some 27-mile-an-hour winds the other day, and those two are just in the ground about 6 to 12 inches, and it did really, really well. And the PVC is doing the job. I was really loving how simple it is. Just 2 pieces of PVC is my door lock. I can keep one locked permanently. I can keep one locked, and then the other one overlaps it, and it will keep a pretty good tight seal there. But all you do is just insert the PVC. I put about a 2-foot long PVC in there, and then in the ground is one that's just like a 1/4 inch or so wider on the inside. So it does have a little wiggle room. So you'll have to just make sure you get it nice and tight. But that was my solution to the problem. Now, as you can see, I already broad forked this bed, all these beds. Let me take it up here. So I got one 30-inch bed, 10-inch aisles, 30-inch bed, 10-inch, 30-inch, 10-inch, 30-inch, 10-inch, 30-inch. So I got 5 beds, okay? Now, I'm just kind of winging this. So as you can see, I have my cable. That's about 6 or so feet from the ground, right there. And then as you can see, I got another cable up here, one in the middle, which is just some extra rope I got with this high tunnel, another line there, and then another one there. So I should have 5 rows of tomatoes in here. They're roughly about 4 foot center to center, which is pretty much what I do in my in-ground garden, 4 foot center to center for stuff like that. So I think there will be enough room. I wanted to get this broad forked a little early, try to help it dry out some, but it was also just waterlogged, and it's been waterlogged for a little bit, because the next step is I need to get my EOX in here and cultivate this, then put the weed fabric down. Once I get that done, after I amend the beds, once I get that done, put the weed fabric down, I will be ready to pretty much plant, which I'm hoping to do in about 4 more weeks or so. It just depends on the weather. I'll keep you guys updated if I can, but I do have a little Bluetooth sensor there. I usually put it in the middle on the ground to try to monitor the temperature. And eventually I'll show you, I do have some low tunnels that I made that's going to go in here for extra protection, because I'm planting these tomato plants pretty early. So for my trellising system, I'm just going to go with this clipper system. You know, instead of doing all of that wire, all of the T-posts, all of the clips and all that stuff, I'll get more in depth about this system later, but I should be able to have like 3 to 4 clips at the most, and that's it. Maybe some string tied to the bottom of this guy, maybe some string tied to the bottom of this guy here, and it goes down to the plant. As soon as the plant gets up to this, that string doesn't matter, and then you just have maybe 3 or 2 clips on there, and they just lean the tomato plants over. So I'm pretty excited about that. It seems like a game changer. I'm just hoping it works out the same. And yes, for anybody that's wondering, that door is kind of leaning to the left. It's kind of a little off center, but I mean, hey, I was doing it by myself, so it turned out good enough for me. You close your eyes, it's not, if you squint your eyes, it's not so bad. So if you check it out, I'm just going to pip up a little image for each tomato plant that I'm going to be putting in, so you can kind of get a better idea of what's going to be in here. And as you can kind of check those out, it's putting the roof plastic on by myself with my 2 kiddos wasn't so bad. Pretty much what I did was I used that wiggle wire, and I attached about 1 foot to 2 foot on each corner on one side of this high tunnel, and then got in the middle with a ladder, pulled it over, and that pretty much held it down for me to start at the peak with the wiggle wire, and it actually worked pretty good. So I pretty much got it done, which is nice for this 25-foot tunnel. If it was longer than that, I probably would have had a lot more trouble. So out here, this is kind of what I've got stewing. So this is what I'm thinking. I'm gonna have some mainline tubing here to have this zone separate from this front of this high tunnel. Then I'm gonna have a 90 come here. I'm gonna have my rows running lengthways this time, mainly because I was thinking less drip tape stops and starts, and I can do like, I believe it's like 27 feet of cucumbers and other stuff up here like summer squash, you know, whatever else I can. I could even do another 27-foot row of bell peppers and stuff. I can do quite a bit of stuff up here, you know, maybe like 3 or 4 rows in here, just have pretty good spacing in between. I do got to do a little bit of cultivation, try to get some of that stirred up. There's definitely going to be some weed problems, so I'm going to have to use my tine weeder to try to eliminate as many of those as I can. And pretty much what I'm going to do, pretty much what I'm going to do over here is we're going to put some herbs, I'm thinking. Flowers on that side of the high tunnel, maybe some herbs or something. This is kind of just an extra spot here. That's just going to get filled in with whatever I got left. And these are going to be 18 inches on center, by the way, these tomato plants. And then on the back side, let me get this up here. Backside over there, there's going to be pumpkins. And on that hill behind the shed, I'm going to do some black raspberries for next year. So I'm pretty much all planned out here. I'm sure some things will change, but I like to have that flexibility to direct seed, you know, like summer squash and stuff. In case something happens, I can kind of have a backup plan. Boy, it is bright outside. You know, the one time you don't want to wear your mirrored sunglasses. But anywho, I definitely have a lot more work to do. We're getting pretty close. I'm really excited about all this stuff in the works this year. Hopefully I can cover it pretty good so you guys can see what we're doing. You know, it's kind of nice to have this video log, you know, to kind of look back on for the next year. So when I'm planting stuff, you know, I can check out the temperature. And it's pretty hectic. It's pretty hectic. The weather's been changing just randomly. Every night it says something, it changes it. So I got to stay on top of it for the tomato plants whenever they finally get acclimated and put in the greenhouse, because those guys are definitely something I'm counting on. So with all these Bluetooth monitors that I got for all these greenhouses, high tunnels and stuff, they really do help out because you can put alerts on them. This is Not a Pro Gardener here, and I'll see you next time out here in the garden. I hope you enjoy these videos. If you like the videos, just hit a like button. Just kind of helps me out, helps introduce me to more people, the more interaction there is on each video. And if you like these updates, which I'm hoping you do, because we're going to be doing a lot more here lately until I get the chance to, you know, do some garden seeding videos with my seeder, because I got some new stuff going on with that I want to introduce and show. And this is Not a Pro Gardener here. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time out here in the garden.